Actually, yeah, come bring it this way. There you go, right there. Now, at HUME Lake, you know what is at HUME Lake? A lake.
Oh my God!
There's a lake at HUME Lake. And what do you do at lakes? You canoe, you kayak, but you gotta row. So we are actually gonna train you guys in some rowing. We have two boys going head to head, and right now we wanna see who can get farther. Boys, you know who you are, come up on stage. Come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. And also we have another special guest that will be helping us encourage them. You guys give it up for Coach Adam.
Yes.
Give it up for Coach Adam. Now, who wants to go first over here? All right. You will have 1 minute to row as hard as you can. Y'all ready?
All right, so
All right.
our contestants
You can't.
will have 1 minute to row as far as they can.
Now, this game is called Do You Even
row?
So we're trying to see if you even row. So there's gonna be a countdown. When it hits 0, you're gonna strap in and you will try to get as far as you can. All right? Let's turn it on. All right, it's on. All right, let's get the timer on, and you guys help me count down. 9, 8, 7, 6,
Get strapped in,
5,
get strapped in.
4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, sir. Let's go.
All right, how far is
Let's
Ian
go, let's
gonna
see it.
get?
Okay.
Look at that form.
Okay, let's keep going.
Apparently rowing's all in the legs, I've been told.
30. Come on, let's see it.
We've got 30 seconds left. We are
Let's see it.
halfway, Ian.
22 seconds, you guys
Hunter,
give it
what
up
are
for
we at?
Ian. Give it up for Ian,
What are
you
we
guys.
at?
If you think he's gonna win, make some noise.
What is going to be your strategy for rowing today?
10,
Legs back, arms.
9,
Legs, not
8,
arms. Amen, brother.
7, 6,
5, 3,
2, 1. Stop.
Stop.
Now, crowd, if you think he rowed over 100 meters, make some noise. Crowd, if you think he rowed over 200 meters, make some noise. If you think he rowed over 300 meters, make some noise. He rowed 304 meters.
Nice, not bad. All right, Cade, those are some big numbers you're going to have to beat. 304 meters.
Okay, it's reset. Let's go ahead and get the timer up on the screen. You guys help me count down because I forgot how to count. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go! Oh man, that's a big boy. Let's go. Row it. Come on, Cade.
His feet aren't even strapped in.
Come on, boy. Let's go. Come on. Come on, let's see it. Come on.
All right, Ian, do you think he's going to beat your record?
That is 100 meters right
Did
there.
you hear that? Ian said no. Oh my God.
26 seconds. Come on, boy.
What was your strategy while you were rowing?
If you guys think Kate's going to win, then make some
Row hard or
noise.
go home, is that what they say? That's what they say.
15 seconds, Kate. 15 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Stop.
All right, stop. Now, if you think Cade won that one, make some noise.
Give it up for
right,
our contestants.
your final
You guys
number.
did great.
Ian's final number was 304 meters. Cade's final number was 300 meters.
No way.
4 meters. Oh my goodness. You guys go ahead, give it up for Ian and Cade. You guys, they did a great job. Hold up. Can you guys carry this off stage because you guys just showed us that you guys got some strength. Thank you. Now, They showed you the proper form of rowing, kind of. Be prepared because that's what's going to be at HUME Lake. You can totally go on the lake and row. So make sure you guys sign up.
Yep.
How else are we going to train them today?
Hunter, we got to prepare them for the camp food. Raise your hand if you know the type of camp food I'm talking about at HUME Lake. It's so good. Who even knows what they put in it? Well, for our next challenge, we're going to train you guys to get ready for that food. So can I have my helpers come on over here and grab this table?
All right. So, Kat, what's up with the camp food? What's up with
Dude,
camp
the camp food is funky, like level 10 funky. So we're going to recreate it. We've got a challenge called HUME's Kitchen.
This is nasty.
We're going to need 2 middle schoolers and 2 high schoolers who feel like they can recreate any camp meal.
What do I have to choose? I'm going to be a bad guy, right? All right, you two. Come on, let's go. I didn't see you guys.
Did you pick 2 high schoolers or high school? What? Okay, guys.
Now, helping us out today, helping judge, is Chef Adam. You guys give it up for Chef Adam.
All right, contestants, you guys are gonna line up by a plate. Where's the other guy?
All right. We need one more push. Let's go.
All right, so each contestant has a bag of random food items. You are gonna have 1 minute to turn everything in this bag into the most luxurious camp meal, and Chef Adam is gonna judge and see who did the best.
All the ingredients in the bag are on the screen. All of them. We took a picture, photoshopped it. Alyssa helped us out.
Dude, we got carrots,
real quick,
we got Alfredo.
let's introduce our chefs. Over here we got Chef
Natalie,
How long have you been training for this?
about 10 years.
Next. All right, who we got over here?
Hannah,
Chef Hannah. You guys give it up for Chef Hannah. What's your favorite meal to cook? Okay, Kat, can you introduce these
And
chefs?
over here we have Chef.
Ford,
What's your favorite food, Ford?
sushi.
Awesome. And last but not least, we have Chef
Ben,
How many marshmallows can you fit in your mouth, Ben?
that's a tough question.
All right, we're gonna get moving on.
All right, we're gonna get another countdown in here, and I need you guys to help me count down because I don't know how. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have 1 minute.
Go.
You have 1 minute. You have 1 minute.
There's gloves, there's knives, there's plates and napkins. Anything you could possibly need. We've got lettuce. I see Ford over here is making something with a bed of lettuce. Is that Cheese Whiz? Starting off strong with the Cheese Whiz. What are you starting with, Chef? With lettuce? I see lettuce. You're gonna have to somehow use these pinto beans. And Nutella. That's gonna be fun.
So, Chef Adam, what are you seeing over here? 16 seconds.
That's roast beef.
16 seconds. 10 seconds.
You have to
8
use the
seconds.
tofu.
5, 4, 3, 2,
1.
Stop. Bring your creations to the front. Bring your creations to the front. Bring your creations. Come over here. Chef Adam's gonna come over here. Bring your creations to the front. I want you guys to line up. Come over here. Line up right here. Line up right here. Show the crowd. Tilt it forward. Tilt it forward. Tilt it forward. And don't spill it. Tilt it forward a little bit. Tilt it forward a little bit. Tilt it forward a little bit so the crowd can see. Adam, go ahead. Go ahead and judge them.
It's so rancid. Right, so this we have, what is that? Bananas, pickles, pretzels. Right, what's that then?
Wait a second. Chef Adam, I think you need some help from Chef Nick. Nick, come up on stage and help him
Chef
judge.
Nick.
You guys give it up for Chef Nick.
You, get over here.
Come on, Nick.
Get
up,
over
get up.
here.
Come on, Nick. All right,
There's a
Chef
leak in the
Nick
boat.
is also from the same continent. Chef Nick, can you go ahead and judge this plate for us?
What is that? Oh, come on. Oh, my God. What do you mean it's your plate?
It's really good.
What is this?
Oh my God.
What have you got?
It's a carrot.
Oh, no, come on.
Oh,
What are you doing? You want to kill these people?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Right,
What are
let's
we
go.
doing?
Next plate, next
listen,
plate.
all right, right here. Listen, when I ask you a question, you say yes, chef. When I ask you a question, you say no, chef. Is that okay? Wrong answer. It's no, chef. Okay. What is this? Tell me what this is.
This is
Wrong answer. This is Brussels sprout rubbish. Who puts Brussels sprouts in a salad? I can't even do it. What is that?
All right, judges, we need to know which is the best dish.
It's got onion in there.
Come here.
We've got that.
Gordon and Ramsay right here. What do you think that was?
That's all rancid.
Right. We got garbage, we got trash, we got rubbish and basura! No, I'm just joking. But, right. You know what?
We pick a winner.
Right, from what we see, the least amount of rubbish is the chicken Caesar salad. So you, get out of here! Get up, downstairs! Run! No! The answer is yes, sir! No, sir! Good
All
job!
right.
Wow, this is mighty good!
Go ahead and tell everybody your name
It's
one
so
more
good.
time.
Honestly, it's still
Give it up for
rancid, but
Natalie.
it's the best
She
one we
killed
got.
Hume's
So,
Kitchen. Go ahead and sit down.
good job.
Go sit down.
Yeah, still
Go sit-
rancid,
Almost
still
as
rancid,
good
but it's
as me.
okay. Leave it.
Almost!
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
It smells
All right,
so
can we
bad
get-
up here.
You guys, can we get the rundown on
And
the
it's
screen?
not
You
the
guys-
food.
Hey,
Just kidding.
it is time to sign up for camp. I hope you guys understand what type of food you will be eating at camp. And it won't be that. It will be better than that. So we were just prepping you. But Grace, go ahead and throw the first rundown screen on the screen. You guys, you want to get in the know, all right? So if you don't know what's coming up, like camp, or you didn't know we're having Pazookies tonight, where's Kara? Okay, is Kara in the building? Kara,
Let's
stand
give a
up.
shout out to Kara. I seen her right there.
You
I
guys,
seen her
Kara's
right there.
She baked all those Pazookies
It was
today.
so
Give it up
good.
for Kara.
Phenomenal. Blood,
You
sweat, and
can
tears
sign up tonight.
in the Pazookies. I
Grace,
saw
is
it.
there a link to sign up? Is there a link to sign up back there for you? All right, we are gonna send it to your leaders if it's not there, and they're gonna send it.
Because Hume's
Oh,
got
wait.
the second best Pazookies. If Kara's are first,
There it is.
Hume's
Sign
got
up
the
for
second
you
best Pazookies.
right now.
You're
Sign
gonna want
up.
to get them.
Go.
Oh
to
wait,
Hume.
because sign-ups open right now?
They open right
They're
now.
right now.
Right now.
Guys, you can sign up for camp right now, starting in this very moment. Go sign up, take a picture of it, send it to your parents, get it done.
And guess what? If you sign up right now, you sign up right now. You feel me?
Yeah, because if they sign up right now, then they're signed up right now.
That wasn't funny. All right, you guys signed up. Next, go ahead and turn your attentions to the screen. We have something very important to show you.
This war will be fought not on some
Grace, go ahead
distant
and start it over,
battlefield,
Grace. Go ahead and start it over.
but amongst us. This war will be fought not on some distant battlefield, but amongst us.
Either we heal as a team, or we will die.
Oh my gosh. Is that what I think it is?
I think it's something coming up.
I think it's time for
The Gauntlet!
Gauntlet!
Now, the Gauntlet is in 2 weeks, and we're gonna divide the entire youth group up into 3 teams, and there'll be 7 teams on each team. Now, be prepared because we are announcing our theme and our teams next week, so be prepared. And you guys, who's ready for the Gauntlet this year? Make some noise. Kat, can you tell them a little bit what the Gauntlet is like?
The Gauntlet is crazy. It's like maximum hypeness of youth group, but for a month all throughout. It is awesome. You're gonna go head to head, small group versus small group. And the winning team, what did the winning team get last year?
They got a golden box because our team theme was shipping and handling. So we had Team FedEx versus Team UPS versus Team Amazon. Where's Team UPS at? Where's Team UPS at? There we go. Now this year, we're gonna announce the teams. Shh, we don't want Amazon right now.
Team Amazon won and you know it. He's still in denial.
But be ready, because next week we're announcing teams, and you guys don't understand how hype it is and the competition. Like we got in fights last year, and by we, I mean me and Adam. But let's get it. But can you guys please stand? And we're gonna continue to worship with some song and dance. Let's get it.
He still continues to love us. In Luke 15, it talks about the parable of the prodigal son. And the prodigal son is basically about a son who chooses to take his father's riches and spend it all on reckless things, reckless living. And he actually comes back desperate and broke, and yet his father still welcomes him with open arms and says, I'm gonna throw a party for you. And he says my son was lost and now he is found. So that's exactly what God does for us. That's exactly how he treats us when we choose to reject him. He still welcomes us with loving open arms. So let's sing Homecoming together.
Shackles I wear, but on my own. Scarlet sins at a crimson cost. You nailed my debt to that old rugged cross. An empty slave at the empty grave. Thank God that stone was rolled away. Yeah. And Lord, I confess that I've been a prodigal, made for your house, but walked my own road. Come on, let's sing. Then Jesus came. He tore down my prison walls, and death came to life when he called me by name. Oh, the scarlet sins had a crimson cost. You nailed my debt to that old rugged cross. An empty slave at the empty grave. Thank God that stone was rolled. Sing it again. The scarlet sins had a crimson cost. You nailed my debt to that old, an empty slave. An empty slave at the empty grave. Thank God that stone was rolled away. It was rolled away. I praise you, Lord. Sing this. I see bright. I see bright crimson robes draped over the ashes, a wide open tomb where there should be a casket. The children are singing and dancing and laughing. The Father is welcoming. This is our homecoming. Roses in bloom, pushed up from the end. ashes. Rivers of tears flow from good times remembered. Families are singing and dancing and laughing. Come on! The Father is welcoming. This is our homecoming. Heaven joins in with the glorious sound. And the great cloud of witnesses all gather round. 'Cause the ones that were lost are finally found. The Father is welcoming. This is our homecoming. Scarlet sins had a crimson cross. You nailed my debt to that old rugged cross. An empty slate at the empty grave. Thank God that stone was rolled. Oh, 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 oh. The Father is welcoming. This is our homecoming. Oh, oh, oh. How good is that truth? So just hear this right now. The most important thing is what we think about when we think about God. Think about that. The most important thing about you is what you think about when you think about God. And what is this song saying about who God is? It's saying, despite anything that you have done, despite any shame, despite any guilt, despite anyone rejecting you, Christ loves you. He's chosen you. You are pure, you are blameless. That's why we sing. That's who we worship. That's who I want a relationship with. So as we continue to worship, we're gonna sing, I see bright crimson robes. And I want you to scream this out with us. The Father is welcoming you home tonight. This is our homecoming. I see bright crimson robes draped over the ashes. Wide open tomb where there should be a casket. Children are singing and dancing and laughing. The Father is welcoming. This is our home. Come on! Roses in bloom, pushed off from the embers. Rivers of tears flow from good times remember. Families are singing and dancing and let's go! This is our homecoming. Heaven joins in with the glorious sound. And the great cloud of witnesses all gather. Come on! 'Cause the ones that were lost are finally found. The Father is welcoming. This is our homecoming. Scarlet sins had a crimson cost. You nailed my debt to that old rugged cross. An empty slate at the empty grave. Thank God that stone was rolled. Oh, 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 Father is welcoming. This is our homecoming. Yeah. This is who we worship, students. Hear this tonight. If you hear one thing, God has chosen you. He adores you, He loves you. And I don't know about you, but in my past, I have thought of God as this guy that's just kind of watching in a kind of a creepy way or a disciplined way. He's like waiting to smite me or something. But that is not the God that we're here worshiping tonight. There is no one on earth like Him. There's no one that loves Him as deeply as you. This Father is compassionate. He is good. He smiles when He looks at you. Think about that. He smiles when He looks at you with compassionate goodness. And it fires me up to worship because I don't want a relationship with a God who's just waiting to, discipline me. But I do want a relationship with Jesus, who is willing to be nailed to a cross for my sake, thinking of me upon a cross, thinking of you upon a cross, willing to bear my guilt, my sin. Remember, that is who we're worshiping. And so as we continue going on, we're going to be singing nothing else. And I just encourage you guys, open your hands. If you feel comfortable, put your hands above towards God as we say, God, I want nothing else but you. Why? Because you run towards me, God. I want nothing else but you. So Josiah's going to keep playing keys over us. Michaelin's going to sing. And I encourage you guys to sing along with us as we go. If your arms get tired, put them down. But I'd encourage you guys to keep going. And arms open. The reason we do that is it's a bodily expression. It gets our bodies ready to worship. It helps our souls to receive and show God, like, we want nothing but you. We're open-handed. We're ready to receive you. We want you. So let's get there. Let's do it.
I'm caught up in your presence. I just want to sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never want to leave. And I'm not here for blessings. Jesus, you don't know me anything more than anything that you can do. I just want you. I'm sorry when I've just gone through the motions. I'm sorry when I just say another song. Please take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. I'm caught up in your presence. I just want to sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never want to leave. Oh, we don't want to leave. I'm not here for blessings. Only our Jesus, you don't know me anything, but more than anything that you can do. I just want you. Sing nothing else. I just want you, nothing else, and nothing else, nothing else will do. I just want you, and nothing else, and nothing else, nothing else will do. I just want you, come on, and nothing else, and nothing else, nothing else will do. I just want you, and nothing else, and nothing else, nothing else will do. I just just want you. God, we're praying that you would uncover things in our heart, Lord, that we would just be able to see you as our friend. And like Jake was saying, God, that you're not some distant, far off God. You are in the middle of the mess with us. Jesus, you are in it, even when we're going through trials, even when we're facing things that feel so big on our own, God. You say, I know that's big for you. Let me take that off of you. God, thank you for that. Would we all realize, God, that life is too hard to do on our own? And God, that we fall so short when we try to do things in our own strength and in our own power. But God, would we realize that you are the ultimate strength? You are the ultimate provider. So would we trust you? Would we put our trust and our hopes and our dreams all in your hands, God? And would you remind us that you are in control of our lives, not us? God, you're good. We want nothing else than your presence, than you, than a relationship with you. God, would you just help us to forget the things that we're chasing in the world that don't satisfy us, the things that leave us broken and empty. Would you take that all away, and would you remind us, God, that what you give us is fulfilling, it's life-giving, and there's nothing else like it on this earth, God. You've created us to have a hunger for you, so God, would you just come in and would you satisfy that hunger? And would you remind us, God, that you are the most important thing? God, help us to take the idols off the throne of our hearts. Whatever it is, whether it's addiction, a person, whatever it is, God, would you just remind us that that seed is yours? God, thank you for this time of worship. I just pray that these students' hearts would be opened, that all of our hearts would be opened to what you're calling us into and what you want to tell us tonight. Thank you for being good. In your name we pray. Amen. You guys can have a seat.
To know tonight. I want us to know that this is what our God does. He doesn't save someone out there, he saves people in here. He doesn't save in the past, he saves in the present. He is a good God and a gracious God, and all of your sin was nailed to the cross with Christ. Your debt is paid, and it is finished, now and forever.
How we doing, people? Great, great. Hey, tonight is HUME Rally night, okay? So here's the deal. Today is the day that you will get to officially sign up for a little thing we call HUME Lake. That's right. It is coming. We're excited. How many of you guys have already scanned the QR code? Okay. We have a piece of paper for you when you are on your way out. You can grab one of these, and David Downing, thank you for the clutch catch there, buddy. This for sure is accurate, okay? That means you scan it, you make it happen, you get signed up. So you're gonna give that to your parents, get you guys going. But here's the deal, guys. We are so excited for camp because it is going to be one of the most memorable things that you do all year. And what we're most excited about is what they're going to be talking about at camp. So what they're gonna be doing is walking us through the story of somebody named Daniel. Now raise your hand if you've ever heard of a person named Daniel in the Bible, a guy named Daniel. All right, here's what Daniel did, okay? Daniel was somebody a lot like you guys. In fact, the way Daniel's story starts is here. One day, he wakes up, and outside, he had seen opposing armies starting to come toward his home. They had heard for many years that eventually their country would be taken out, but now the time finally came where, McKenna, thank you, where the enemies, the Babylonians, had come in to take them away from where they had lived. Now, Daniel was actually probably 14 to 17, somewhere in that range, so he was a teenager at the time. And if you can imagine what this would be like for us today, like, it's really hard for us because we have virtually nothing like it in America. The people who probably could most relate to this are the people who live in the Ukraine right now. People who have seen tanks rolling through their streets, who have seen their land taken from them. That's what it would have felt like for Daniel. There were chariots, which are the equivalent of tanks for their time, rolling through his town, taking people. And what they did is they took all these young people who were the best and the brightest. It's like if somebody showed up here and took all the kids from your school with the highest GPAs, they took all those kids and they ripped them away from their families. They ripped them away from their homes. They took them away from their country, and they took them somewhere where people didn't hardly speak anything remotely close to the language that they grew up speaking. They ended up being taken to a place called Babylon. And Daniel and some of his friends, when you get there, they get put into this training school. Think of it like boot camp. They get sent to this place where their job was going to be to become re-encultured, okay? So they show up at this place, and what was gonna happen is they were gonna take them from being Jewish and turn them into a whole different national identity. So they started by changing the way that they dressed, and then they would change their hair, and then they changed the people that they lived with. Then they were taught to speak a different language and weren't allowed to speak their own. Until finally, they get all the way down to the point at which the king, he says, you're only allowed to eat certain types of food, and it's only the food that we give you. And he puts them on this program to make them like jacked, okay? So they were like going, they had to work out, they had to get big, and so they had to eat their protein, people. They had to beef it up. And Daniel, he sees this entire just wiping the slate clean of who he is and what he was like and his parents and his memories and his grandparents and the places he used to love to go. He starts to feel those things fading. And he notices what the king's trick was. What the king was trying to do was the king was trying to get him to forget who he was, and more importantly, to forget who God was. Daniel knew who God was. Many of the people who came with Daniel knew who God was. And yet what these people were trying to do was to convince them to be totally different. And so Daniel, he gets this vision, and he ends up deciding, you know what? I am not going to eat any of the king's food. I'm going to be completely vegetarian. Can you imagine that? He goes full vegan in Babylon. He said, no animal products. I just want vegetables and I want water. Meanwhile, the other people, can you guys just stop? I'm having a bad day. Shush. Okay. Here's what happens. They end up only eating vegetables, only drinking water, and here's what happens. They end up getting more healthy, more smart, more intelligent than anybody else who was in the program. Everybody else thought the key was just to keep eating this meat that they were given, But Daniel ends up doing something that God told him to do. And the king of Babylon looks at Daniel and says, there's something different about you. What is it? He was baffled by it. He couldn't understand what was so different. And so here's what he does. He takes all the rest of the people in this program, of these young people they had ripped from their homes, and they say, all of you have to do what Daniel does, and all of you have to pray to who Daniel prays to. Can you imagine that? Just because he was faithful to what God wanted him to do. And then this crazy thing starts to happen where the king at the time, his name was Nebuchadnezzar, he starts having these dreams. He's pretty full of himself. He wants people to worship him instead of worshiping a god. And so he starts to make this statue for himself that people would bow down to and that they would pray to. And Nebuchadnezzar starts having these nightmares, and he can't get rid of them. Every night he goes to sleep, he has another nightmare, but it's a repeating and a recurring nightmare. Every time he falls asleep, he sees this statue, and it's got feet made of one thing, and knees and legs made of another, and then a chest made of something else, and a head made of a different material. And every night he has this dream. So what he does is he says, okay, if anybody can tell me what this dream is and why it's happening and what it means, then I will give them the biggest promotion ever. They'll be like set up for life. They'll have anything they want forever. So people come to him trying to say what it was. What was the dream? What did it mean? And no one could figure it out. Not a single person could figure it out. And so Nebuchadnezzar, being full of himself, loses his cool and says this, if any of you can't figure this out, I'm killing all of you. That's what kings did back then. They said, I'm gonna kill all of these young people that we brought out of their homes. We're gonna kill all of them if you can't figure this out. So you can imagine, Daniel, one of the young people, starts freaking out. Okay, he's like, we're all gonna die because no one can figure out what this dude's dream is about. Raise your hand if you've ever figured out someone else's dream. Maybe a handful of you. Probably not. How does that work? So here's what Daniel does. He goes to his room, he gets on his knees, and he faces a direction that he faced every time that he prayed. When Daniel would pray toward where he came from. He would pray toward his home as a way of remembering where he came from, as a way of remembering God and his faithfulness. So he gets on his knees and he prays. And here's what Daniel prays in his prayer. Chapter 3 of the book of Daniel, verse 20, it says, praise be to the name of God forever and ever. Wisdom and power are his. He changes times and seasons. He deposes kings and raises up others. He gives wisdom to the wise, knowledge to the discerning. He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what lies in darkness, and light dwells with him. His prayer closes in saying, I thank you and praise you, God of my ancestors. You have given me wisdom and power, and you have made known to me what we asked of you. You have made known to us the dream of the king. You see, when Daniel was praying, he gets this vision, and God comes to him and says, hey, here's what it means. That statue that Nebuchadnezzar keeps dreaming of, here's what all those things are. The clay feet, that represents this kingdom. The next part of the body, that represents this kingdom. Oh, and by the way, the kingdom that they are, it's just the kneecap. There's another kingdom after that, and another after that. Did you know that historically speaking, the dream that Nebuchadnezzar has about these four kingdoms, it actually happened? It all came to pass. The four kingdoms that he was praying about, each one of those came in and they conquered the next and conquered the next and conquered the next, all the way up until Alexander the Great. How many of you have read about him in history class? Okay, so Alexander the Great, he's what's represented by the final part of the statue that Nebuchadnezzar was dreaming of. And then you know what's so interesting is this prophecy that he gets and this prayer that he's praying for. There's this man that's in the dream of Nebuchadnezzar. And then later on in the book of Daniel, Daniel starts getting visions of a different man. He gets a vision of this thing called the Son of Man. And he sees this Son of Man who was the Ancient of Days and whose eyes were like fire and whose hair was like wool. He sees this vision of this man that would come who would rescue his people. When Jesus shows up on the scene, do you know what he does? All throughout the Gospel of Luke, he references Daniel 7 time and time again, saying, I'm the Son of Man, I'm the Son of Man, I'm the Son of Man. And he's saying, I'm the one who Daniel had the vision about. And not only that, but if you look historically, if you look at the chronology of those 4 empires, Jesus shows up right after the last part of the statue falls up that gets destroyed. This is some crazy stuff, guys. This is like deep cuts into the OT, and what Daniel is seeing is he's seeing something totally different than what anybody else was. But what he really saw was he saw hope. He saw hope. And that hope that he had helped him to be resilient. How many of you know what resilience is? Resilience. It's like when you test something, you test the strength of it. It's the resilience that something has. Daniel had resilience. Now, why did Daniel have resilience? It wasn't because Daniel was perfect. It wasn't because Daniel had life figured out. It wasn't because Daniel was overly impressive. In fact, he would have been middle of the pack in the group that he was with because they were all the 4.8 GPA kids. It's not like he was an overachiever compared to them. But what he had that was different is he had faith in God. And his faith in God is what made him different and is what led him to see things that led him to have hope and to give hope to other people, to give hope to his own people, to take the time to write these things down so that you and I, what, 2,500 years later, give or take, we're hearing about his story. You guys, this story of Daniel, maybe some of you have heard the rest of it. You've heard about the lion's den, or you've heard about what eventually happens where he gets put in charge, and maybe you've heard about the way that the people get rescued eventually. But what I want us to think about, and what they're going to be talking to us about when we go to camp, is this idea, is how do you stay resilient in your faith when the culture around you is antagonistic to Christianity? How many of you know that we are living in a world that is constantly changing? We live in a world that's constantly changing. It's moving at a very fast rate. And in the rate at which this world is moving at, it doesn't seem to be heading in the best direction. And the way that the world looks at Christians, or people who say they want to follow God, people who say they follow Jesus, the way that the world looks at that is not with regard. It's not thinking that they're good people. They look at that and think that they're bad people. In fact, there's this group of individuals who basically what they do is they try to identify hate groups in the world and then take this list of hate groups and give them to like companies or to other institutions to say, hey, blacklist what they say, don't let them to communicate things. Like they have things like the KKK on there. They have things like the fascist movement. They have Nazis on there. They have all this list of things. And you know what recently got added to that list? Christians. Said, hey, look out for Christians because they're a hate group. You know, if we get branded as a hate group, what does that mean? It's like, what does that mean for Christianity? What does it mean for us? You know, when Christianity first got started, people thought it was a hate group too. Because the way that Christianity showed up, it said, hey, there's one God and we believe in one God and we want to give our lives to this one God. And then the world was like, are you kidding me? We pray to all kinds of gods. What, do you hate the emperor? What, do you hate this world? Like, no, we just believe that God is exactly who he says he is. And so Christianity got branded the same way. You see, what I'm not concerned about is getting put into a category like that and having people say that Christians are bad or that Christians don't have anything to say or that the truth that we know to be true isn't true. I'm not worried about that at all. But what I am worried about is people like you and me coming face to face with a culture that is antagonistic to Christianity and not staying resilient. That's my concern. Is that some of us are just gonna kind of falter under some of the world's pressure. We're gonna give up because it's not convenient for us to say that we're a Christian at some point. We're gonna go off to college, and to be a part of certain social circles, there's certain social activities you need to engage in, and it's just gonna be more convenient not to be resilient in your faith. For those of you in middle school, you're gonna go to high school, and it's gonna become inconvenient for you to be one of the good kids in certain situations. It's gonna be inconvenient for you. And what my fear is is that we don't have a sense of resilience. We haven't built up resilience because our faith is just something that we've got secondhand. It's just something that you hear from other people. You hear it from someone on stage, or you hear it from your small group leader. But the big question is it yours? Is your faith your own? How do you make your faith your own? What does it mean to have a faith that is your own? You see, Daniel had a faith that was his own. So it didn't matter if his parents were around or not. He was still committed to God. It didn't matter who was watching him. He was still committed to God. It didn't matter if everyone around him was doing the exact opposite. He was still committed to God. That's what's so compelling about what Daniel does. But what Daniel does is only a shadow of what Jesus wants to do in us. Jesus wants to build a sense of resilience in you in the gospel. Because the gospel narrative is more powerful than any narrative this culture wants to press your life into to try to develop a sense of meaning or a sense of purpose. This is why I'm excited about camp. This is why I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited to go there because I know that while they're up there, their game plan is to dissect this story and to go deeper than we could go in a 10-minute talk on a Wednesday night and to give you guys practical tools to build resilience in your faith. I want that for you. I want that for you. I know that your small group leaders want that for you. I know your parents want that for you because you guys, this is it. This is what it hinges on. It comes down to faith. It comes down to what God does in and through us. But we've got to stay open to it and look for ways to build our sense of resilience in God. And some of that on a very basic level, the most practical level we can get to. Some of that is just having things in your life you can look back to and say, no, I felt God. I know God was real. I saw God do something in my life. I saw God do something in someone else's life. You have to have moments like that you can look back on and you can remember. And that's part of the gift of what HUME Lake does for a lot of people, is to give them those moments where they can look back and say, no, God was faithful. I remember God being faithful. And so that's my invitation. You don't have to sign up for camp. I would love it if everybody went. You don't have to. But what I want for you is to go and to have time with God and to get away from distraction and to let God develop a sense of resilience in your faith. And if you're new to this Christian thing, if you're like, what the heck are they talking about? Daniel and chariots and what? Listen, this thing is something that's for you too. Okay? It's not just some conversion camp trying to convince you to be a good person. What this is it's a place where you're going to find real community. You're going to find real friendships. Not just stuff that's built on convenience, but something that can be built on something more meaningful. Guys, I invite you to be a part of it. There's cards up here for you. I'll give them to you on your way out. But let me pray for you and we'll head into small group. God, we love you. We thank you that we don't have to have things figured out. We just have to get the right thing figured out. And that helps everything else fall into place. God, that one thing is you. And so I pray for us that we would find our hope in you, that we would find our trust in you. And that, God, you would become our source of resilience when we face anything and everything. God, we love you. It's in your name we pray. Everybody said, amen. You can grab a card on your way out. Hunter's got them for you. Go to small group.